So then, the LUMIX S5, the original, the one that's kind of kicking it off, or that kicked it off, sorry, for LUMIX in the full frame field. This camera, I must say, has been an absolute asset. I've had this camera now for around 2 years. I've used it for majority of the videos on this channel for the past 2 years since I've had it. It's been absolutely fantastic. So I thought I'll make a video today because I am unfortunately getting rid of the S5 very soon, as of tomorrow, and I'm upgrading to the S5 too. But I was thinking, there's reasons why I'm upgrading that make a lot of sense, but maybe there's some of you out there that are kind of on the shelf thinking, you know what, I've seen these S5 cameras, they're pretty decent, what can they do at the lowest form factor? You know what I mean? What can they do at the entry level, which is basically the S5? What's the good points and what's the bad points? So I just want to kind of dive into that. So first things first, what people never want to talk about is the photography when it comes to these LUMIX full frame cameras. And I think the images that come out of this camera, I'm really impressed. Now bear in mind, I come from the Fujifilm world, right? Previous to that, I was a Sony user. Previous to that, I was a Canon user. And I say previous, I still own all those cameras. I still regularly use all those cameras quite often, you know what I mean? But I always take a look at these images from the LUMIX. I don't know, I'm just kind of blown away. There's something about it. There's some sort of like image there that just looks a little bit more rustic, a little bit more organic, similar to how the Fujifilms look, and that's what I like about it. Take a look at some of these images, or I'll probably be displaying some of the images in the background as I'm talking. So I took this camera out to Switzerland. You've seen many visuals of that particular trip. I need to go back out there again to top up some of the samples here. But when I went out there, I took a various amount of images. Some I've not even posted anywhere, some I have, but the detail in these shots, absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed them. I took it also on recently we had an anniversary little shoot, me and the wife, and we did some cowboy shots, and the images, I can't fault them. They come out absolutely perfect. It's what I would expect from a full frame sensor. Yes, it's 24 megapixel. Everyone seems to want more nowadays, but I really think 24 megapixels is absolutely ample, especially if you're putting it out on social media. You put it up onto Instagram and it only really cares about 12 megapixels. Anything above that, it just bins it off completely anyway because of the servers. So yeah, really like this camera for its image quality. Now let's move on to the main reason why you're probably watching this. How does it actually stack up for video? Now I shot this camera in all its formats, all its cinematic modes, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. There's only one thing I can physically fault with this camera. Well, a few things I could fault with the camera. So let's get those points out there. First of all, the reason why I'm upgrading is because the continuous shutter is a little bit on the slow side. I think we're getting about 5 to 7 frames per second in photography shooting, right? And I like shooting cars and like, you know, my kids are then running around, so I need some more fast pace going on. So the S5 II, which I'm going to upgrade to, I believe that's doing around 9 frames per second mechanical and 30 frames per second electronic. The S5 has no electronic shutter mode. Well, it does has a silent mode, but it doesn't have the kind of the high speeds that you get on some of the other cameras. So it only shoots at, say, whatever the 7 frames per second it is. It can't alter that speed, which is a bit of a downfall for me personally. Another thing as well is the resolution. Now I've switched over to the Blackmagic Cinema 6K camera, right? You know, the full frame one, because I just thought, you know what? It's an L mount camera. I want to use my L mount lenses on that camera as well. So I've kind of got something that's uniform. I can just switch it from here to there and back and forth. And I like that. I really do like that. But I have now been spoiled with the image out of that Blackmagic camera. And I feel like the S5 just doesn't stack up to the same result as what you get out of that one. But I think that comes down to the fact that I can have open gate, first of all, so I can get a ridiculous size image and I can just cut it and crop it wherever I want, however I want. So the resolution's really high as well. I mean, you're talking 6K, whereas the resolution on the S5 is kind of locked off at 4K. But the image out of it is actually incredible, and you can push and pull these colors really nicely, as you will be seeing in all the footage in the background there. And not to mention, the camera's way smaller than dealing with my Blackmagic camera. It is still a compact full frame camera. We're talking smaller than a DSLR days, but still bigger than say a Sony A7. So it's a bit more chunky, but it's got a really nice grip to it. Yeah, it's a really nice, ergonomically, it's a really nice camera. And for the trip that I was doing, actually, all the shots, all the videos that I took, I was only using 2 lenses. I had one cinema lens, from 7 Artisans, and I was just using the kit lens, the 20-60, believe it or not, is absolutely fantastic. So this brings me on to my other down point I was saying with the S5, and that's the autofocus. And I think that's the biggest reason why I'm switching over. Because there'll be many times when I'm just recording my face kind of thing, and it'll be just not constantly hunting. It wasn't as bad as the early like XH1 that I used to use, where it would just go to the background and stay there forever. But it does do that sometimes. It just wants to look at the background, then it go back to my face, so you'll see it doing some slight twitches back and forth. And if I ever, Lord help me, put anything in front of the camera, it will just lose me forever, and it will never focus on the thing in front of the camera. So if you're doing talking head videos and stuff like that, then you might want to consider upgrading to the S5 too, unless you can deal with the whole manual focus, if you don't mind that. And I like it. Well, I'm trying to keep this short. I'm trying to keep this video short. But a few more points. I really like the fact that it is the L-mount system. The L-mount system is something that I've really bought into. I really like what they offer. The fact that I can get lenses from Sigma, from Leica, through Lumix themselves. There's also many other third parties, and not to mention DJI are now linked into this whole system. Blackmagic are in this system. It just makes it so much easier to just switch, chop, move, and here and there. It's just, I really like being in the L-mount alliance kind of system. Do you know what I mean? I've actually fell in love with it. And people always say, oh, there's not many lenses for Lumix, but you just need to look into those other brands. Unfortunately, those other brands aren't too expensive. DJI glass is, and Leica glass, let's not even go there. And finally, the body itself. This is the most tantalizing thing. This is the most sweet thing, because that body right now, I saw it online, you can pick it up on MPB for around £700, sometimes a little bit more affordable than that. If you went to eBay, you could probably win a bid at about £590, £600 for this camera right now. It's absolutely incredible, and what you get for it is absolutely outstanding. I've been around my friends who have had FX3s, and the image quality looks very similar to what you're getting out of this S5 camera. The only thing that lets it down is its autofocus. So yeah, I just wanted to bid my little bit of a farewell to this camera, and just help anybody that's looking for a full frame camera that kind of does near enough everything with some pitfalls on an affordable budget basis. And I hope this helps. All right, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Finding the right look when shooting log can be tough, but transferring the colors of your camera into the cameras they use on Netflix shows and movies can help kickstart your videos. This conversion pack does just that. And I'm giving it away free to one lucky subscriber every single week. All you need to do is hit subscribe and download the free LUT on my store. Links on my channel.